Lolita E. Walker.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to see each and every one of you all here today. Kate, you are always so super amazing. If you all are not following Kate Volman, you just missed a power segment from Kate Volman on Breakfast with Champions. And I'm so excited to follow her as one of the amazing co-mods that are right here inside of the space for this podcast. Thank you, Kate. Are you there? Are you
Thanks,
there?
Lolita.
Testing one, two, three. Listen, come on in the room, everybody. I am Lolita E. Walker. We are live on Facebook in my private community, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. We are on LinkedIn and we are right here on YouTube and in Clubhouse. This is a power hour. And what a juicy topic we have been talking about. Make sure you say hello in the comments so I know exactly who you are. And to all my Facebook friends, please write your name because sometimes you forget to go ahead and give StreamYard the proper you have to give them permission. So Kim, good morning. Good morning. So good to see you. Linda, thank you. She said, Lolita, you look lovely this morning. I appreciate you. You guys, this is such a juicy topic. Okay. If you are just now coming into the party, we are talking about what steps you can begin to take today, knowing that we are going into a recession, right? Now, some people, they hear this word recession, and they get super nervous and they start doing all of the things, yet doing nothing. Does that happen to you? Right? Or you get so much pushed into a corner that you stop doing anything at all. So today, what I really want to do is leave you with a couple nuggets. I'm going to leave you with four. You know, I love a power acronym. And that power acronym today is all about STEP, STEP. Now, before we get all into it, I want to tell you a little bit about who I am. I want to give some shout outs for some folks who are coming into the room. Hey, Effany, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. She said, hey, coach, come on LinkedIn. I love to see you. Hi, Jacqueline Underwood, Dora Maria. Happy Thursday to you too. Miss Lynn Luckett, who was always so supportive and also a member of Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated, like I am. You know, recession. When you hear that, there's so many people that just get so nervous. Now, what you have been hearing lately is guess what? Brace yourself. I want to sound the alarm because our experts around the world in the financial world and celebrities all over are saying we are in for a recession. It's coming soon. So, I am not in the financial space. As a matter of fact, let me give a super shout out to Momentum Advisors, where my wealth management is managed, my entire portfolio, and I absolutely love it. So, one of the things I want to talk to you guys about is, and I'll get to it, but really leaning in and allowing experts to really help you. Community. We've talked about that over and over again. Before getting all the way into it, I am Lolita E. Walker. For all of you all that I have not had the privilege of meeting yet, I'm Lolita E. Walker. I'm a certified life, leadership, and executive coach, soon to be Dr. Walker. I say soon because it's so relative. Okay. Yes, all the way in a PhD program. We'll talk about the scholarship of it all. Some of you all are just now hearing it. My Coaching Cocktails and Conversations group heard it already because I love to share the news there first before I make the huge announcement. And I want to give some thanks for that because that's a piece of what we're talking about today. I'm also a TEDx Empower speaker, all of the things, right? We have all of these topics. And now is the time to lean in to the titles, to the expertise, to the skill sets, as Kate said, that we absolutely have. I love it. Hey, Kate Ballman. Kate said, guess what, Lolita? I love that you do these lives, leaning in. It doesn't always feel comfortable. Oh, Pastor Jeff, over the last couple of weeks, he has really, remember last week, was it last week or the week before? I'm losing track. Pastor Jeff came and he heard me say, listen, I'm doing these things live. I'm doing it scared. I was scared by the tech. I was scared by the tech. I said, you got to plug in here, but I want to leverage my content. I want to be able to use it. We're going into where people are going to be leaning into audio and they want some content that they can get for free, leverage, take away, and then decide if in fact they want to work with you and pull you on their journey. So let me get back to Pastor Jeff. He said, listen, I will take you through the tech, Lolita. Okay. You're going to have your entire segment that you can record yourself and we can hear everything. So on all these other platforms, you'll be able to hear what is happening in Clubhouse, which I think is the super juicy conversation that happens right here. So one, Pastor Jeff heard me talking. Pastor Jeff is a resource. I've been chatting with Pastor Jeff for over a year and he walked me through it. Come on now. So today is the first day that I'm looping in all of the things, okay? And so we hopefully, prayerfully, we will make sure that we can get the entire awesomeness of this juicy conversation with our Clubhouse family where you can hear them live, right? So today I want to take you through what I'm going to give to you for 4 considerations. Now you have a lot of considerations as you go into this recession, okay? But what is it that we can do that we can control? What is it that we can do that we can control? Dr. Jeannie says, and we love your power acronyms, Lolita. If you all haven't seen this amazing episode that Dr. Jeannie did with me on LinkedIn, you've got to go and check it out. It was so much fun. So much fun. Yes, Augusta said, you are doing it. And Robin Brown said, hey, and good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I love to see these names because sometimes as we go on a journey, we power through with other people, right? And that sometimes is our saving grace. You get to see other people from where they are, you meet them exactly there, and then now you can help celebrate their wins along the way. For most of the people that are right here talking to me today, guess what? I can talk to you about the wins that they've had. I can talk to you about the fact that Robin just got a certification, just passed that. Why? Do I know that? Because she's leaned in and our relationship has now expanded to the point where now, guess what? From meeting her on Clubhouse, from her leaning in on my Zooms, from her doing all of the things, Robin now is acting as my operations and administrations officer for Walker and Walker Enterprises. That I didn't know her a year ago. How powerful is that? Dr. Jeannie, I can talk to you about how amazing she is and how hilarious she is because I've gotten a chance to see her based on consistency. She reached out and said, hey, I want to interview you. It's all of these things that are going to help us. So in all of that time, I hope you got your paper, right? Let me tell you what I really hope you got. You see this right here, coaching, cocktails, and conversations. It says, I'm ready for coaching, cocktails, and conversations. Are you? Because I am. Linda is on here. And guess what Linda came up with? Linda, I'm still waiting for you to text me your address so I can get you your coaching, cocktails, and conversation stuff right here in my Facebook community because we leverage our resources, right? I said, hey, you all, I have this amazing logo, which is right here. I think it's super amazing because I always say cocktails is not about what you're sipping on, no matter if you're drinking water, tea, or something stronger, right? It's about celebrating the greatness that you are. And I said, hey, I want a power statement right at the top. And here is what we went with. I love it. You got to ask your community. So you ready? Let's get into these 4. So hopefully you're writing in your coaching cocktails and conversations journal. If you haven't had a chance to get that, don't worry. LolitaWalker.com. You can get all things coaching cocktails and conversations. Okay. So let's lean in. So the S, the T, the E, the P, the S, the T, the E, the P. The S is about, you ready? Because you already know what I'm going to say. Sit down, share, and support. Slow down. When you hear the word recession, take a deep breath, sit down, and feel the power that is in this pause right now. We are standing right here. You can't do anything about yesterday. We're not going to fret over yesterday. We're standing right here with new information where we are. So sit, so breathe, and know that I will work in what I can control, period. That's where we want to start. This pause that you have been offered is an opportunity to assess where it is that you are, to feel this power that is right here and bring all of your skill sets to the table, to really do some inner work. And that's where I'm going to concentrate because that's where I thrive, right? This personal and professional coaching and consultancy that I have is to grab all of the power that is inside of you, reframe it, and then gift it right back to you. So now you're able to not only lean in differently, but now you're able to soar because your perspective has absolutely changed. So I want you to sit in this pause right here, find the gifts that are within it, then share, all of you. Here's an example of sharing, right? Sharing is free. Sharing is serving. Sharing is not giving away the wheelhouse, but tapping into people so that one, you're leveraging your expertise, you're showing your expertise, you're showing up. I'm a certified life leadership and executive coach. So if I have the power to pour into you in a small time frame, look and imagine at what I can do when you give me the opportunity to work on one. Look and imagine what's going to happen when you come to my women's weekend renewal retreat, right? You share because it's a gift that you already have. You serve because at the end of the day, we are here for a limited time. Oh, I get so excited when I talk about this stuff. Okay. And the last S right there is support. I gave you an example of Pastor Jeff today. Support folks that are on a journey when they know exactly where you're headed. It was right here that I said, I know you all remember, I will be Dr. Walker. Yep, in 2022. Matter of fact, my vision board that I'm looking at right now, it says Dr. Lolita E. Walker. In 2022, your dreams have already been manifested for you. Come on. I did that in September of last year at my September Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. And it was on there alongside a number of other things. One, actually, I'm looking at a phrase right now, it says, take care of those who take care of you. It's a reminder to me to serve, to sit, to share, and to support. Support doesn't cost you anything. Sometimes we get confused with support. We accidentally think it means financial all of the time. It doesn't. It doesn't. Support can look like calling somebody in the midst of, we're going into a recession. Call somebody that might be having a difficult time, right? Call somebody and tell them, you know what? I just want you to know that this is how you show up in the world. Nothing more, nothing less. But I wanted to gift you that today. Okay. Call somebody in the midst of it. We want to support them. It could be liking a post, sharing a post. You can't make it to my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat. Okay. But do you know a woman that needs to be there? Share it. It costs you nothing, nothing at all. That's just the S. I absolutely love it. Jackie says, so proud of you, Dr. Lolita E. Walker. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Robin said, thank you, Jackie. It's such an opportunity to work for Lolita. I'm so blessed to have met Robin as well in all of this. Oh, Augusta, who I didn't know, it's Pastor Jeff. Look at Pastor Jeff. Yes. So proud of you. Thank you for being on my journey. You see that? Thank you for being on my journey. That takes a second to say and to mean. Oh, Linda, I didn't want you to say your whole address. Oh, it's only in the Facebook group. Okay, I won't show it here. All right, I will get that to you. Linda, you're in Baltimore. Well, guess what? Morgan State University is in Baltimore. So maybe we can even coordinate to connect and I can give you this in person. Look at that. I didn't even know. Okay, let's continue forward. Now, if you have anything on S, I'd love to hear from you, but let me get through all of them because that's where the juicy conversation starts. You ready? Okay. The T is about tapping into your network. Now, remember what we're talking about today is, hey, we're going into a recession. I want to give you a couple of considerations to get your mind right. So now you can pause. We talked about that in the S. I'm giving you 4 considerations. Then we're going to open it up for all the juiciness for everybody to share. Okay. Now we're sharing on Clubhouse, on Facebook, in my Coaching Cocktails and Conversations community, in LinkedIn, and in YouTube. And when you listen back to the podcast on Breakfast with Champions, you can then DM me. You can then send a note because right here, when you write these down and then you do the work behind them, you will show up differently. You will. Absolutely. That T is about tapping into your network. Tap into your network. Now, I'm talking to Lolita E. Walker because I don't leverage my network half as much as I absolutely should. So these tidbits, these considerations are not only for each of you all listening in to consider. Leave them at the bus stop if they don't work for you. Okay. But you have an opportunity. So here is an option that you have. In my coaching community, one of the exercises that we did, the soul work exercises that we did at one point was really around decluttering. And we said, all right, everybody, here's the exercise for the next 2 weeks because we meet every second and fourth Thursday. And the exercise was to go through your phone and you're either going to call them or you're going to delete them. You're either going to call them or you're going to delete them. If you haven't talked to them in 6 months, you're going to call them or you're going to delete them. And that's the exercise that we did. You want to exercise the power of your network. You want to tap into them because some people, they want to support you, but they don't know how, right? We talked about sitting and sharing and connecting. And what if you chose to call someone the other day? Because I do this exercise quite often in my phone. The other day, I did this exercise and I ended up calling a woman, Tanisha. And when I called her, I hadn't talked to her. I hadn't talked to her maybe in 2 years. I hired her to be an expert instructor at one of my retreats, my in-person retreats. And I hadn't talked to her for a little while. So I call her. She's in Miami. She's doing amazing things. She said, Lolita, guess what? One of the things is that, yeah, I want to live my dream. I'm inspired. I'm motivated. I took action. I don't want to be another cold. I don't want to be in a cold anymore for a winter. I'm leaning in. I'm doing the thing. And she's doing amazing. And I said, I'm so glad you answered because I am going through this soul work exercise. She's like, don't delete me, but I'm going to do the exercise myself. Declutter as we go into a slowdown period. Declutter so that when you choose to move, you won't get stuck, right? You won't get stuck. So that's T, is tapping into your network. People don't know. So go through your LinkedIn contacts. Who are the folks that are connected with you? Go through and think about the folks that's on your Facebook connections. How can they assist you in your journey? Right? Go through and ask the questions. And almost, I wonder if it's just me, but sometimes we don't even ask the questions because we're scared at how other people will perceive us. Come on. Let's get out of our own way and remember that our goals are straight up ahead. Do you see them? Because I see mine. I see myself already in my cap and gown. I see myself already speaking as Dr. Lolita E. Walker. I see myself there. And if I tell you the truth, Renee Noor, I think she's inside of the room. I saw her earlier. And Dr. Sean Shapiro started calling me Dr. Lolita E. Walker. Jeff, it just sort of caught on. And at first, I felt so uncomfortable. I felt so uncomfortable because I'm saying, oh, there's people who have earned this degree and worked hard and sacrificed and all of these things. And Renee said to me one day, she's like, hey, guess what? We're manifesting this thing. You say that that's what you want. You say you see your future self. You say you see yourself. You say you are congratulating yourself with that cap and gown on. But when you can see it, you can already walk into it. When you can see it, you can already walk into it. When you can see it, you can feel it. So I want you to tap into your network to help you get to the places that you want to go. And while you're there, it's not only about you. Talk to them about them. How can you support them? And then you choose. Is it going to be a yes or is it going to be a not right now, but I can do X, Y, and Z? Tap into your network. Okay. Then that E, you ready? Now, this is about enhancing your savings because although I'm not in the financial field, actually, I'm so far, I don't even want to accidentally put my toe inside of it. That's why Momentum Advisors is my savior of all things. Yes, if you don't have a financial advisor, somebody helping you around your finances, a wealth advisor, somebody helping you to generate wealth and gifting you those considerations, then you got to lean in. I use Momentum Advisors, but hey, there's so many out there. I can't tell you enough to make sure you surround yourself with somebody who is going to help you in a financial space. But in the meantime, in between time, this is what you can do. Look at your budget. Oh, I know somebody saying, I don't have a budget. Create one. It's time. Create one. You guys, true story. I remember when I leaped from corporate America, I was working there almost 20 years. Amazing job, amazing. But when you're getting a check every 2 weeks, you kind of get in complacency. At least I did. So when I leaped into entrepreneurship, oh, it's a whole different ballgame. That 2 week check, it stopped. It stopped coming. Like it was really, it stopped. You talk about silence, pure silence. Okay. And when it stopped, I had to make some choices. And one of the things that I did was I had to look at my budget and take a look at what are my needs and what are my wants. What are my needs and what are my wants? Where can I sacrifice but not give up my way of living, but not give up what's important to me, but not give up the things that bring me joy. So I did make some choices. I was going to get my nails done every 2 weeks. I didn't anymore. There's so many opportunities. I remember my financial advisor at that time. I wasn't with Momentum yet. Forget who I was with. But she said to me, she said, Is housekeeping, you got a housekeeper on here that you get every 2 weeks. Is this a need or a want? And I said, oh, that's an absolute need. Now it was a want to her. But when you know why it's important to you, then you can say, you can choose your yes or your no. Own your yes, respect your no. Okay? Oh, so good. The P, so that was about enhancing your savings, right? That's about enhancing your savings and making sure now is the time to save. Can you start to direct deposit some money now into an account that you don't touch? Can you start to match your 401k because your job is already, they will match you dollar for dollar up to a certain amount. When I was working for Procter and Gamble, it was 6% at the time. So can you put 6% in, push it over? What is it that you can do now to save? Right? Because the time will come where you need that rainy day fund. Is your emergency fund already tapped out? Is there opportunity to lean in and get that thing replenished? Think about it. And the P is about passing by negative nouns. Now, you know, I talk about negative nouns all the time. Negative people, places, or things that are in your life. What is it that you can do right now to pass it right on by? In coaching cocktails and conversations, I oftentimes talk about you being a conductor aboard your train. Now, you all have heard me talk about that before. You are the conductor aboard your change train. I've talked to you about leaning in. I've talked to you about moving forward. I've talked to you about sometimes there's distractions along your way. Sometimes you get off the train and you walk away. You walk around. You walk around. You have a pit stop. You walk around. Rightly so. You deserve that. But sometimes as you walk into the weeds, you got to move them out the way so that now you can see the clarity of what's up ahead. This is about moving distractions to the side. This is about being very intentional on who you bring in your space. This is about knowing that the slowdown is coming. So I am properly preparing myself, my mindset. I'm properly preparing myself, my business. I'm properly preparing myself, my family. I'm properly preparing myself because the S, the T, the E, the P is what is going to help to power me to the next level. Oh my gosh, I love it. I love it. You know, I'm a podcaster, so I talk to myself all the time. Zakia, yes, she said, excellent tip. Call or delete. Call or delete. We don't need extras in any part of our lives. Now's the season to clean up your room, clean out all of that stuff, give it to people who are absolutely going to need it. You got extra clothes, and for 3 years, you've been saying, I'm about to fit into this thing. Oh my gosh, I'm going to keep it one more year. Cut it out. It's been 3 years. And it doesn't mean you won't lose it, but by the time you decide that now is the day, you're going to want something new anyway. So gift it to somebody who, you know that there's a downturn coming. Gift it to somebody who needs it. We talked about sitting, we talked about sharing, and we talked about supporting. You can support strangers all of the time. Pastor just said, not 3 years. Y'all know y'all are sitting on clothes that's been in there for 3 years saying, I'm going to get into these pants this year. These are my favorite jeans this year. Now, can I will admit to this. I do have a pair of jeans, you guys, and I have probably been sitting on it for 3 years because I think they were probably the most comfortable jeans that I ever had. But I will commit today to try them on. And if they do not fit, I will acquit. I tell you. I tell you. All right. I want to open it up to my friends on Clubhouse. Let's get some others inside of the conversation. Is there anyone who really wanted to tap into that S, that T, that E, that P before I keep going?
Lolita, this is Tina. How are you?
I'm doing amazing. How are you, Tina?
I am great. Girl, I loved how you did that exercise. I don't know what you called it, but you said either call them or delete them.
Yes.
A question about that. Did you have a time limit? Because I have a lot of contacts. How did you decide who you're going to choose?
Oh my gosh, that's such a good question. So for my coaching group, what we did is I said, if you haven't talked to them in 6 months, if you have not had a conversation with them in 6 months, it is time to give them a call or delete. That's what I did. That was our
And conversation, is that text conversation or actually hear their voice?
Oh yes, they had that question too. So I our activity, according to Lolita E. Walker, was press talk. You have to call them. Call. Call and leave a
Wonderful.
message.
Thank you.
Absolutely. Try it out. You got to let me know how it works out. Who else was ready to lean in? Okay. Listen, one of the other things that I wanted to share, I have stories for days, and Jeff said he prays that my pants fit. I know I pray my pants fit too, Jeff, but I'm going to let you guys know. All right. So I'm looking at the clock. We have 30 minutes to go on this amazing segment, and I want to delve into each one of them. And then I want to pause and talk to you all about how it's about accountability. You are going to lean in to each of these. So get your mics ready, get your papers ready. This is about commitment. This is about being able to stand up and say, you know what, inside of this moment, I'm hearing something that is really tickling me inside. I like to say the butterflies are fluttering around a little bit. And I am ready to say, you know what, for this thing right here, this is what I can commit to do. Now, I'm talking to you about slowing down, but that's why we're going to take it chunk by chunk by chunk. Let's go. The S is about sitting down. Stop moving all the time. Sometimes now, I know right here in Breakfast with Champions, we say a body in motion will stay in motion. Absolutely. And hands down, I am a fan. Make sure you schedule it in. But what I want you to do is give time for yourself, because if you know a slowdown is coming in our economy, if you know that, then gift yourself permission to slow down so that you can properly prepare yourself for that. Get your mind in order. A friend sent Walker, my son Walker is 10 years old, sent him a couple of journals for the summer where he can write, where he can draw. And one of them says organized chaos. Organize your chaos. Organize the chaos that is in your head. Another activity that I did, a soul work exercise that I did with my group, is, and I think I've talked to here before, I won't go into the entire exercise because it's in depth, but what I will tell you is that I talked about this whirlwind. I talked about overwhelm, and there's different soul work exercises that I gifted to my community on how to take a step back, to sit, to feel the power in your pause, and absolutely start to get things done. Right? I talked to you all about also my D cubed, right? My D cubed. And if you haven't heard about it, you got to go back and listen in. But my coaching community absolutely knows about that. And the reason is because I want to help you as we know that we're leaning in and there's a slowdown coming. What is it that we can do now? How are we going to live, you guys? What are we going to do? How are we going to make sure that we are living how we want to live, but doing some things in advance, decluttering what doesn't serve us, leaning into our gifts, knowing what they are, talking about our strengths so that as we are applying to these virtual jobs that are all over the world, that we're able to show up in all of us. How are we going to sit in the power that is right now? That's the S. It is sit down, share a little bit of your expertise. Somebody listening in, Tina just opened up her microphone and she said, guess what? I like that. Can you give me the stipulations? What are the stipulations around that thing? 6 months, call somebody or delete it. Okay. So that might be the nugget that she's considering today. If you can't use it, then you leave it by the bus stop. But the things that will serve you, you want to begin to do. You want to begin to do. And then support someone. Kate Vaughman talked earlier, and I purchased 16 of her books, 16 of her journals, because guess what I have coming up? I have my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat September 15th through the 18th. I hope you guys already signed up. It's good. And everyone will get a journal. Why? Not only am I supporting Kate in her endeavor, she's so excited. I'm so excited. But journaling is so super important, and we do a lot of it at the retreat. So why wouldn't I support her in that way? Yes, that was financial, but the wins on my side, the wins for the folks who choose to trust me are going to be huge. Her new book is coming out. I can share that. I'm going to be in Los Angeles doing a book signing on July 23rd, 2022, right? If you're in LA, I'd love to see you, but you wouldn't know about it if I didn't tell you about it. Share, because people want to support you, but they simply don't know how to support you. You don't have to buy a book, but I'd love for you to come and show up. That feels like support to me. That feels like support to me. That looks like support to me. So come on. Ask someone, what does support look like to you? Because you know what? You've always been showing up, and I want to support you in ways I don't have it financially now, but I know that there's something else I could do. Yeah, I have a whole list. Ask the person. right? Okay. I love that Robin said right here, when you declutter areas of your life, you allow new things to come into your life. Come on, Robin. Absolutely. When you move the stuff out of the way, you create this progression, this pathway to progression. Whether it's decluttering from your phone, decluttering your room, come on and clear a path so that I could see everything. You work differently. Your creativity starts to spark. The other day, you all, true story. Um, Now, you all know I write poetry. Now, I am going to be speaking August the 5th through the 7th in Houston, Texas with Tara L. Page, who is the creator and the curator of Black women who love outdoor living spaces. Okay. 275,000 people in her Facebook group. I'm sure a lot of you all inside of this room are in her Facebook group. It's absolutely amazing, creative. I've had her on my podcast. I've had her here, right here, interviewing her on Breakfast with Champions. She's amazing. And I'm speaking there on her stage August 5th through the 7th. And one of the things that is so interesting about that is she asked me, Lolita, can you write a poem for me? I said, absolutely. Absolutely. So I started writing it, then I missed my creativity, then I started doing something else. I had writer's block. And yesterday, I closed it. So good. It's so good. If I do say so myself, I'm dead serious. It's so good. When I said it out loud, I almost had tears in my eyes, but I share this because one of the ahas that happened, true story. I was telling my mom, I'm like, oh my gosh, you got to hear this poem. Let me read it to you. Right. And she says, what gave you the inspiration to really finish it? I know you did some and you were like, it's not really finished yet. What was it that gifted you that inspiration? I said, you know what? I woke up and I heard the birds chirping. My windows were open overnight. I heard the birds chirping and the breeze started coming in and I was inspired. I'm like, today's the day. I'm going to finish it. And I did. But you know what? Anybody who is surrounded by me or heard me speak before, if you're in my coaching program, then you know this is where is my most be free space? It's around water and trees. No wonder I'm inspired. No wonder I'm inspired because my most be free space, the place that I'm my most creative, the place that I lean all the way in, the place that I could be my creative me, the place that I can move distractions out of my way is when I am surrounded by water and trees. How can you gift a piece of that to your everyday? That is part of the S, right? So what I said to her is, I never really thought about this, but when I write, when I have the sounds of nature, if I'm in nature, if I'm sitting on a deck, if I'm sitting over water, I am my most creative and I can knock them out. I can knock them out. And when I say knock them out, you all know here on Clubhouse what happened. Yes, right here. Can we talk? 44 letters and poems that pour into the best parts of you. Clubhouse inspired this. Why? Because I was going into rooms where people were doing poetry. I started getting my creative juices back and I started writing 44 letters and poems right here, changing people's lives every day. There's power in sitting in your pause. So I want to pause right there and I want to open it up to anyone who has something to add on the S. Anything? Okay. I'm going to go right here and I'm going to say, Jackie has said, hometown, I would love to be there. Oh my gosh. Yes. And then Lynn Luckett said, this notion of collective agency within our families is critical for getting us through this recession. Oh my gosh, it's so true, Stacey. We must act together. We must be intentional about sitting our families down, building in blocks of time to plan and prepare as a family. So true. One thing that our family will do is share our food. We are in different households, but we will share our food. So good. So let me talk about that for a moment while folks decide if they want to come into the conversation. I think that's so good. And let me talk about that a little bit. Family dinners for me and my family are so important. And there'll be folks that say, I don't have a family to be able to do it with. But you do. You do. There's friends that you have that you can go over and break bread with. There's time. I love that Stacy talked about making time. I told you all we have family dinners. I told you all that we have family meetings. Now, Walker is gone for the summer. I will see him for the next 2 weeks, but Walker's gone for the summer. And so it's shaking a little bit, but it doesn't mean that the party stops. It doesn't mean that we stop writing our small wins. It doesn't mean that our traditions as a family, our habits as a family shifts. We will continue to move. And when we do that, what we show our children is consistency. I love that you said, because for you, Stacy, like me, family is one of the core foundations of us that make us us. So I say to you all, what is it that is at your core foundation? My very first podcast, you guys, very first podcast, it cringes me to go back and listen to it. But my very first podcast was on standing upon your foundation and really helping you to lean in on what that foundation is. I remember talking about, does it have cracks in it? I remember talking about how long are you going to let those cracks settle, about having someone come in and repair them, leaning in on your community, exactly what Stacy was saying. Sometimes you have to be like, you know what? There's so many cracks in this one right here that I'm not going to repair them. It's going to cost me more in time and energy and effort and money and resource that I am going to create a new foundation. I'm going to start building right over here. Sometimes that's the stuff that you got to do. And that's a hard choice a lot of times, right? Oh my gosh. I love it. Anybody want in on the S before we go to the P? T, Lord. Okay. Y'all are super quiet this morning. Okay. The T, tapping into your network. Tapping into your network. So if you're saying, well, Lolita, I don't really have a big network. You don't need a big network to tap into the network. If you're right here on Clubhouse, then look, 235 people are right here inside of this room right now. 235 people are listening to the sound of my voice. There's a couple people inside of the YouTube and the LinkedIn and the Facebook community right now. There are people here. Look at the people that's surrounding you right now. You might not know them, and that's okay. For Clubhouse, tap on their face and see what's going on. Let me give you an example of that right there. Somebody I don't know. Let me go ahead. So I see Julie right here that's listening in. And Julie says, health is wealth. She says, don't be impressed by money. Okay. Then she said, material possessions, followers, degrees, and titles. Be impressed by kindness, integrity, humility, and generosity. Forgiveness is a virtue of the brave, she says. I'm all in because I have those same core beliefs. She might be somebody that I want to tap into. What is it that she does? Maybe I want to then lean in and say, hey, does she have an Instagram? Julie, you don't have your Instagram attached. So I won't be able to go over to her Instagram and learn more about her. But there's so many folks on there. You can send her, can I send her a message? Let me see. You'll be able to send her a message if you wanted to, right? You have the ability to do that. Let's say you're struggling inside of the financial space. Click on people's profiles. And here's another thing about profiles too, you all. Sometimes you don't even know what you need. You just looking and saying, oh, I like that picture right there, which is why pictures are so important. I see right here, Bridget is an assistant professor in education. Come on, somebody. Why wouldn't I tap into Bridget? Because I'm going to be teaching a course at Morgan State University. Oh, I forgot to tell y'all that. Right? Why wouldn't I want to ask her, hey, what's 3 strategies that you have? Matter of fact, let me follow Bridget right now so I can make sure I tap in Bridget. But you see that? That was a random tap. And she already said she's an assistant professor. So why wouldn't I go ahead and DM her and say, guess what? I'm going to be teaching for the first time on a collegiate level. I'm so excited about that. What are 3 strategies you have for being the best professor ever? That's free, you guys. Exercise and leverage your network. It's right here for you. It's literally right here for you. Over 230 people are inside of this room right now. 239 people. Tap in. Make it a practice. Today, when I'm inside of this room, I'm going to tap into 3 people. Sometimes you might just want to say, hey, how you doing? It might not even be an ask. Hey, I just want to say, hey, how you doing? Hey, I just want to say, I heard you the other day. Right? Oh my gosh. Yes, I love it. Lynn Luckett, then thanks, Lynn Luckett, for chatting because I love it. Right? Let's get this juicy conversation on. She says, tapping into share and to ask. Share your resources and ask about resources. Yeah. This reminds me of when you spoke about garnering and garnishing. I sure did. Come on, when you're listening and take the nuggets in order to power you. Power, yes, absolutely. I don't know if you all remember, but I remember. Well, I was talking about grow. It was the four-letter acronym GROW, and the G was about garnishing and garnering. Right, Stacy? Oh my gosh, it was so good. And how are you garnering and garnishing? It's the same notion of sharing, exactly how Stacy has it. Share your resources and ask about resources. You can do them both. Give and get. You remember tug of war? If you're not doing something, you're going to fall. You're going to fall forward or you're going to fall backwards. Or are you going to be there and making sure you're giving and you're taking? Oh my gosh, this is so good. Listen, you all, we only have 15 more minutes. We only have 15 more minutes for you to speak up and speak out about one piece of accountability that you're taking away today. Today, we are talking about how to lean in, how to step STEP with these four considerations into the recession that is impending. That's what we're talking about. All right. I love it. The E was about enhancing your savings. I gave you some tidbits and some considerations. Leave what you don't use at the bus stop. Tap into somebody who actually is in the financial space and can give you sound information. But from what I know and what I've experienced, the things that you could do right now is start a budget if you don't have one. Yeah, start writing down your expenses. Start actually looking at your credit card statements. People say, seriously, you haven't been looking at your credit card statements? There's no judgment, you guys. There's no judgment. I remember sometimes you get in a complacency of let me pay it. No judgment. Oh, it looks about the same as it was, last month. I'm still around there. Pay it. How many of you all are not going into your credit card statements? When I finally leaped into entrepreneurship, come on, entrepreneurship, and you have to determine what are your needs versus what are your wants, and you look into it, I'm like, am I still paying for this subscription? Care.com. Walker hasn't used care.com in years. Years. What? Yes, I will tell you that. What? And sometimes those charges feel so small until you add them up and you're like, what in the world is happening over here? Get into it, you guys. Set your budget. Look at your expenses because I guarantee you there's something there that you can absolutely pull out. Oh, let me take off that comment. Okay? Yes. That's really leaning in. What can you do now if you know that there's a slowdown coming? You can't say that you don't know it because you're right here inside of this room and you're hearing it or you're listening to the replay. So if I'm telling you that a slowdown is coming, then what are you going to do inside of this right now? You're going to sit down, you're going to share, you're going to support. You are going to tap into your network because your network wants to help. You're going to lean into some of the gifts. You're going to start your journaling like Kate already suggested. You're going to hone in on what your skill sets are. There was a woman yesterday inside of my coaching cocktails and conversations community. I was doing a live. I do these live 10-minute power powwows on Tuesdays and Wednesdays. Okay. Ooh, tap in if you're not already tapped in. Join the community and then you'll know. So one of the questions was, hey, you know what? I have been in tech and I've really been trying to get this job for 2 years and I've been stagnant. I've been told that I was going to progress and then I get there and I never move forward. Legend. Yep. Go ahead and I think that's Jackie that I heard, but I think it was, but go on mute. That's okay. Don't worry about it. So that's funny that I know your voice. I love it. So here's the thing. She said, you know what? For 2 years, I'm so glad she said something. I said, well, guess what? Leverage your resources. I know people in tech. Write me on LinkedIn. Let me make a connection. I'm not in tech, but I know people in tech. What is it that you want to do? She said, customer success. So what I say to you all that are inside of this room right now is if you have connections in customer success, write to me. Let me know so that I can connect this amazing power woman who might be able to add some value inside of your organizations, or at least let's make the connection. You don't know unless you ask. Customer success is what she wants. She's been doing it for quite some time. She's very good at it. She wants more. She wants to leverage it, not by doing she wants to leverage it more on the people side of things. She wants to leverage it more customer facing versus in the technical pieces of tech, right? There are customer facing opportunities inside of tech, and that is where she wants to shift to. So let's do it. Ask a question. I can't wait to be able to connect her with somebody that's listening in today? That is asking your resources for help because someone else got the courage to be able to leverage their voice and say, guess what? I want something different. I'm good at it. My skill sets lean into it. Come on now. What are your strengths? If you don't know them, let's get do the work, you guys. Okay. And then the P was about passing by your negative nouns. Passing by people, places, or things that no longer serve you. You all already know what doesn't already serve you. Um, we talked about these distractions that come along the way. And I'm very, very, very visual. I love visuals. And so what that means is if you're walking down your journey, oh, look what else I have. Look what else I have. In my first book, I love this picture right here. This is why I'm showing you. It's so thin. I love it. It's plenty of soul work. I have to write my name on all of my books because otherwise I'll accidentally give it to somebody. So this here, I want to use this as a visual. If you're not looking, it's the cover of my first book, The Intersection of You and Change. So I will describe it as I'm speaking to it, but all of you all actually looking in can actually see it. And I want you to imagine yourself standing right here. So you're walking this thing called life. We're walking up a pathway on both left and the right hand side. It's green grass. Okay. And it's this fall scene. So you're walking up this walkway. Now you could choose. So you're standing right here. We each have found ourselves at an intersection of us and a change that's happening inside of our lives. Let's talk about it. We're talking about change right here. We're talking about change right here. Okay. So you're walking up and you're standing right here at the intersection of you and a change that is you are experiencing right now. Just think about one. Just think about one. What's one change that you're going through right now? Okay, you got it? Good. So now you can choose if you're going to stay right there in complacency and right now in the shock of things. You can choose if you're going to go left. You could choose if you're going to go right. You can choose if you're going to go backwards because it feels comfortable and you feel like you can shift a couple things, change a couple people. We kind of don't want to do that. But you might decide that that's where you want to go. That's a choice. Or you could decide to move forward. You could decide to move forward. And in this picture, if you can't see it right now or don't have my first book, what it shows you, it's a beautiful scene, you all. It shows you that there's this amazing foliage, right? It's fall. Imagine it. Imagine walking there. There's all these leaves on the ground. Let me make it a little closer so you can see it. All of these leaves on the ground. They could be slippery. You could slip and fall. Sometimes that happens, right? Happens to me a lot. You could slip and fall. There's this shadow. See this openness right here? This openness in the back right here. You don't know. There's an unknown that's in front of you. I'm sharing these things with you because we don't know what's ahead. But when you choose to leap, because your faith and your strength have wings that are going to protect this fall right here, when you choose to leap, oh my gosh, amazingness happens. When I chose to leap and say, today is the day I'm starting my podcast, what's holding me back? What's holding me back? Why didn't I do it already? The tech, Lolita, get out of your own way. Call somebody that has a podcast. Give them what's the top 5 things I need to do today to get started. Done and done. Done. Get it out. Lolita, I don't know how many people are going to listen to me on my podcast. What's the reason that you want to do a podcast again? Okay. Get it out. You don't know how many people are going to listen until you get it out. You'll be surprised. What you are bringing to the table is amazingness. You are uniquely made. You sit in the expertise that is you. So when I tell you that a recession is upon us because the experts are continuing to tell us, they're showing us data, they're showing us that, hey, look at these indicators that are here because they're the experts in it. So now that I know it, what am I going to do about it? I'm going to step. I'm going to STEP, one moment at a time. Oh my gosh, I love it. All right, who has anything based on what I've said today before I stop the live broadcast and just come to Clubhouse? All this juiciness.
Lolita.
Oh, I'm like, all this juiciness and nobody has anything? Are you kidding me? Hi there.
No, you're so awesome, Lolita. I just want to, I love the tapping into your network because it's such a good reminder. And first of all, so I'm so appreciative that that you bought the journals. You're so amazing. It's just
Yay.
such the power of the network. And one of the things that so as I am finished writing this book, one of the things that the company that I'm working with that's going to help kind of with the marketing piece, and this is something I think that anybody can do right now, is when you have something that you are really excited about talking about and leveraging your network, they actually have you create a spreadsheet and you write down all of the people that you know, all the people that you've ever supported or or that are in your network in any way, and they have you create this list so that when you are launching, whether it's your book, your podcast, your course, your whatever you're creating right now, you have this whole list. And what it does is it makes you go through that list of your LinkedIn connections. It makes you go through your contacts on your phone, people you haven't maybe talked to in a couple of years. And you really do recognize, oh, wow, I do know a lot more people than I thought. And these are all people that want to support you. And one of the things that you shared, Lolita, was let people know how.
Yeah.
Because we all love supporting each other, right? Like Lolita, when your book came out, we were like so excited to support you, to buy the book,
Yeah.
to talk about the book, to listen to your poems because we're so proud of you.
Oh.
And so that's what's so great about being in rooms like this. And so we have to remember that we have to be our own best cheerleader and come up with that list of people that when you are launching something, you have these people that they do want to support you in some way. They just don't know how. And this is our opportunity to let them know, hey, this is how you can support me right now. And as to your point, it doesn't always mean investing dollars. It just could be some encouragement, a share, a like, whatever that looks like. So take some time and like really create that spreadsheet of people that are your supporters and that you get to support right back. So I loved that one. So thank you so much.
Oh my gosh, that there was Kate Volman. For all of you all that are just listening in, Kate Volman is amazing. Kate, you said so many things right there. And I've had my groups work on this resource spreadsheet as well. I said spreadsheet, spreadsheet as well. It's so super important. Remember going through LinkedIn and Kate, you're so right. Even where you're working, the connections that you have, you could start your spreadsheet today. Everybody start today. Don't worry about yesterday. You know, when I said Dear Yesterday, I've read that a million times. Dear Yesterday. Some of you all have gotten the audiobook for Can We Talk? And there's so much power in it. Not only is there music behind the words, but the words, when you close your eyes, you can visualize the poems. You can visualize you talking to your inner you. Dear tomorrow, let me have a conversation with you. Dear today, let me have a conversation with you. Dear yesterday, let me tell you thank you for what it is that you've done, but I'm standing in my today and I'm preparing for tomorrow. So I don't have time to bring those things into today. But what I can do is sit in my today and leverage the power that I do have and come up with a spreadsheet of the people that have poured into me because my tomorrow is coming. And if I don't continue to grab these connections, I will lose on the way forward, right? It makes sense. I love that Mary Kim said, great convo and reminders of connecting and reaching out to those around us. Something so simple and we make it so complicated, or we think too much about it, which I've been guilty of myself. I know, me too, Mary Kim. We have a 50% chance of a yes. Oh, I love that you said that. I oftentimes say we already have the no, but Mary Kim, this is so good. We have a 50% chance of a yes, which is a high percentage. Absolutely. And sometimes it's even higher than that because this is a person that you talk to all the time and they want to lean in. Oh, so good. Thank you, Mary Kim, for that. And then Lynn Luckett came back and said, as you mentioned negative nouns, I think about the emotional, the mental, the physical, and spiritual strain that families may experience. Yes, while navigating through this recession. Seriously, we must pass by the negative chatter that prevents us from getting help. Oh my gosh, from counselors, therapists, etc. We must normalize asking for help. Come on, Stacy. Yes, we have got to normalize this. And here's the thing, check in on your strong friends. Check in on the friends that you haven't talked to, right? I have a cousin, seriously, that I talk to every single day. I do. I talk to my cousin, this one cousin, every single day. And life happened, and I'll send a text and be like, hey, just want you to know I'm thinking about you. Things have just been so crazy in our lives. But what I recognized yesterday, and I called over the week, I'm like, what's going on? I haven't talked to you in forever. What's going on? So guess what today? He's not listening in, but I'll tell him I talked about him today. Today, I'm going over there. I have a key and I'm walking in like, what's up? What is going on? Talk to me. Because sometimes we have to check on our strong friends. Sometimes we have to check on folks. If something is out of the ordinary, especially leaning into times which are very difficult, then you want to go ahead and do that extra check, that extra step, because you can. We only have 5 more minutes in order to lean in. And,
Dear Dr. Lolita
hey, Pastor
Walker,
Jeff.
may we talk?
Absolutely.
We just want to tell you how proud we are of you. We
Aw.
want you to know that we are pouring into you and that we promote you. And by the way, you sound great.
Thank you. Listen, Pastor Jeff and I, listen, he had me doing a whole lot of checks. He said, come on, wave at me on Clubhouse. Let's get into a room. Nope. Turn that knob up. It's on the right at the top. I mean, he gave me the whole list of stuff that Pastor Jeff, I appreciate you and I thank you so much for increasing my confidence. You know, I talk to you all often, and this is how I'll leave some things here. Clarity plus confidence equals commitment. Clarity, when you're clear on where it is that you're going. I knew where it was that I wanted to go. I already saw the outcome. I saw me talking to you all here. I saw me piping in the juicy conversations that were allotted right here. I felt it. I dreamt it. I knew it. And so if you know it, remember the other day I talked about in my 10-minute power powwow, Tuesdays and Wednesdays, I talked about pressing the grapes, pressing the grapes, pressing and doing the thing, doing the thing. Press and leverage the resources around you. Thank you so much. In these last couple of minutes, I had a couple hints of a couple things. So I just wanted to share with you all this here. One, thank you so much for tapping in. Before I turn it over to the mom link, who is so super amazing as well, superpower that is there, I wanted to share with you all some exciting news. I'm all about wins. I'm all about sharing our wins. If you want to share your wins with me, you can head on over to the Facebook group, Coaching Cocktails and Conversations. So my latest win, not only did I apply to Morgan State University, which was my undergraduate, where I got my industrial engineering degree. And it was important for me to get my doctorate from an HBCU, very important for me, a historically Black college and institution. And I said, why wouldn't I get it from the same institution that poured so much out of me? I applied to one school, Morgan State University. That's where I applied. It almost could make me almost cry right now. Dr. Suki wrote me a letter of recommendation. I met her right here. Dr. Suki stood up one day and said, I'm a PhD mentor. After Dr. Sean said, what's the problem? Apply. She said, I'm a PhD mentor. I will meet with you every single week. It was Sundays at 11 o'clock that I met with Dr. Suki. This is about leveraging your resources. And she was with me until I applied. I called her when I got accepted. I called her when I got, are you ready? A full scholarship. Come on, God. A full scholarship. Why is it? Because you got to talk about what it is that you want. You got to say it out loud. You got to ask for what it is that you want. You got to make those things happen. I asked for the funding that I needed because I told you already, me and my future self, we already had the party. When you know it, when you can feel it, when you trust it, when that thing, I stood on a TEDx stage because I felt it. I knew it. I didn't know it was the red circle though that I was going to be on, but I knew on my vision board, I knew the theater that I wanted to be in. I knew the feeling that I wanted. I knew I wanted a massive crowd. I knew that. And it ended up TEDx because when you know it, when you can see it, when you can visualize it, you manifest it. When you talk it, you dream it out loud. And that is what we're talking about today. Today, in case you missed it and you go back and listen in, we talked about 4 considerations to step, STEP, into the recession that is coming our way. Lynn Luckett said, Lolita, I hear a dear recession coming. My poems, for all of you all who don't know me, start with dear, right? So dear contagious vulnerability, dear recession. Jacqueline just gave a whole bunch of applause. Thank you very much, Jackie. I appreciate you. So proud of you and your full scholarship. Come on, Dr. Jeannie. Yes, yes, yes. I'm going to be teaching a course. It's a teacher's apprenticeship. Come on, teaching a course. If you knew me a couple years ago, I said, I would love to teach at the collegiate level. Come on. Oh, I can't even. I just can't even. It's so good. Yes. Come on, God. Congratulations. Say what you want. Pray intentionally. Know that there's a higher power. You are not doing this thing by yourself. Grab your resources and step. STEP. And that is how I will leave you all today. Please tap in. If you're not coming to my Women's Weekend Renewal Retreat, if this is the first time you've heard about it, head over to lolitawalker.com. If you can't get in touch with me, which you should be able to, Robin, get in touch with Robin at lolitawalker.com. We will lean in to get you exactly what you need, okay? You need a coach? I'm right here. You need a power speaker for your organizations? I'm right here. Let's chat. Let's do it. We're leaning into 2022. We know what's coming. So let us prepare ourselves appropriately and accordingly. I'm Lolita E. Walker. Thanks, you guys. It has been amazing. I'll chat you. Oh, next week, you all. I'm not at 7 o'clock. Guess when I am? 7:30 to 8 o'clock. We're tightening the ship. So come in, get your nuggets. Make sure you lean all the way in. Thursday, 7:30 to 8 o'clock from now on. Okay? Let's do it. Bye, you guys.
Thanks, Lolita.
Thank you.
Lolita!